And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report, folks. Second King Report live from the Chenny Gung Pao Studios. To all the kings and queens of the Kingdom of God, good morning. It is 7:26 a.m. We are now joined with our dear friend and patriot, Chief Tom Burke. He is the chief, man. He is the chief. And of course, Special Operations, Special Forces, Green Beret, you name it, commie, destroyer, Vietnam War combat vet. An entrepreneur, business owner, creating incredible products to help people naturally fend off ticks, clean their homes, get rid of mold spores, you name it. All that wisdom pouring into the products and services that he offers everybody. Very generous man, has done it for the church. I mean, just a heart of gold. And of course, we're always blessed to have you on, Chief. Great to see you again in this warmer weather that we're having.
You picked a beautiful hot day for me to come on. Well, us old folks don't fare too good in the cold, but
I know.
It's always an honor to be on with you.
Well, it's our honor. The honor is ours. We're so grateful for all the things that you've done for this country, for freedom, sovereignty, worldwide, for God, and really standing up and fighting against evil, literally, figuratively, and in all the things that you do. Let me bring up one of the things we were talking about during the break, which is there are now these big leakers within the intelligence agency who are patriots, people like QAnon and Zach Anonymous, who are talking about Trump may be doing a negotiation in the new year, especially in the beginning of the new year, where he's negotiating with China. And the trade-off is this. He will give them Jiang Zemin's top guys like Guo Yuan and these kind of people, Miles Kwok. This is part of the regime of Jiang Zemin, who is against Xi Jinping. And Xi Jinping wants to wipe out Jiang Zemin and his coterie of power brokers. So we can have a monopoly and rule over the 1.6 million poor Chinese people that they organ harvest and kill and destroy if you do meditation or if you read the Bible. So Trump is negotiating with them, say, hey, we'll give you those people, you do what you want with them, but you have to allow us to take out the Kim regime in North Korea. It's too dangerous for everybody, etc. That's what they're saying. What's your take on that? And we just talked about it during the break. Tell us about how this North Korea is really a hostage taker psychology and mentality.
Well, they show you what they do. This has been 50, 60 years that this continues. And if you keep letting an enemy build strength over that period of time, I mean, it's 5, 6, 7 decades, they're going to be able and allowed to trade, get money from countries. Russia is selling off nuclear weapons out of their old warehouse. Some of them things transport that they're liable to blow up on transport. The problem is they are hostage takers. They proved that during the Korean War. They proved it. Then they've been proven taking hostages of everybody and anybody, including your father. They took him hostage and they locked him up in a death camp, place to kill him. And this is, where it really it strikes home. Well, not only with you and my brother, he flew bombing missions there during the Korean War, and it comes home to roost. But the thing is that the fact they're hostage taking is they're also very deceptive brainwashers. And what they're trying to do is keep buying time.
Right.
Time is on their side. The more time they get, the more they can fine tune the weapons. And the example of what their motive is, if I was a lawyer trying to present a case, which I'm not, but they're holding the people of Seoul. There's probably 7 million, I think, in the city there.
Well, Seoul and surrounding area suburbs, 20 million.
20 million. With 15,000 or more artillery guns within the range. Now, one of our generals said the other day that we should deploy tactical nuclear weapons. Now, what are tactical nuclear weapons? The best tactical nuclear weapon we have is the Davy Crockett system, which nobody talks about except me right now. And the Davy Crockett weapon was developed just for that purpose. It was designed to stop an armored division from Russia from rushing into Berlin. That would have wiped them out. President Kennedy wanted that system. It fires off a nuclear bomb, but it's just like an artillery shell. And you pinpoint and hit the targets with it. And you could have a total wipeout in a matter of seconds if they deployed 18 batteries up there, would take out those 15,000 artillery guns, even in the caves. That's why you need the nuclear as a shape charge where you'd blow it. It would go into the cave and it would just blow that cave for maybe a mile down in the ground. And everything in it would become thermal heated, and all the weapons in there would be vaporized, destroyed, or blow up. And that could be done in a few seconds. Now, that would be the sensible thing to do, because you can't let people blackmail. You can't let them come to your house and hold a gun to your kid's head and say, listen, this is what I'm, if you don't do what I say. And this is what they do. And they do worse than that. And I've seen the worst of what people can do to each other.
Yes.
I saw the horror show.
You've seen it on the ground.
Yes,
fighting those evil commies. And this is the reality. I mean, even the military who are fed well, quote, well in North Korea. I mean, the guys that were escaping to the south, they did, scans on their internal organs and stuff like that. They're completely malnourished. They're eating raw meat. They're, they have parasites all over their bodies, the internal organ worm, tapeworms. I mean, these are the military guys in North Korea, let alone the normal folks who got to eat tree bark and drink, literally chew on grass, dead grasses to stay alive. I mean, you're talking about utter hell on earth poverty. And you're talking about a regime that is absolutely totalitarian. It's completely in bed with China. It's a little, pimped out prostitute to China. And it is brutally oppressive.
Right.
All our relatives are dead in North Korea. We have no living relatives, basically. They're all dead.
Right. Well, what they do is you go back to who let them do that. I mean, Clinton gave them the atomic bomb. Hillary made sure the Russians had a lot of uranium so they could get it back. Same with Iran.
Yep.
You have a problem with every president that wimped out on them and tried to. You don't treat an enemy that way. Our military. Do you think General Patton had been president in 1960? Do you think North Korea would be there?
It wouldn't be there. Didn't MacArthur too wanted to take it out and take China out too?
Yes, he did. He wanted to take out. So you wouldn't have that situation. And now imagine if you let them get away with this and build the weapon, they're going to hold the world hostage. And that guy is nuts enough to shoot one off and try to do an EMT over the U.S. and wipe out our whole electrical system. The risk is higher than what you would call and when you do a military assessment, your risk of what they can do to you is higher than what you would have in what you would call collateral damage.
Well, and he's also openly threatening the United States. You have the top, quote, diplomat in the UN in New York City saying we will reduce the U.S. to ashes. I mean, these people are holding a gun to our head and saying, oh, no, why are you calling us bad things? Why are you looking at us? We're not doing anything. They're holding a loaded gun to your head. And they're saying, why are you talking about, that we're bad? I mean, give me a break.
Well, I think it's going to come down to, unfortunately, it's going to come down to the only solution is going to be a military solution.
Sooner or later, and at some point, if you're going to do it.
It's not only the weapons, the nuclear weapons. This guy's got tons of biological weapons.
Right.
Poison gas. He could send 1,000 people across the border and everybody would think they're fleeing the country, but he could have them all vaccinated and contaminated with all kinds of contagions like bubonic plague. this is what they had. The Pennsylvania National Guard blew up a lot of that weaponry in Iraq. The minute the captain there discovered it, he just brought in tank trucks of fuel, and they dumped it on it. They put the C4, they packed it up with deck cord and thermite, and they just burned it on the spot. And no politician got a chance to get his picture taken with it. But he did the right thing, and that's the only way to deal with those kind of weapons.
When you talk about biological weapons, Kim Jong-un potentially may have murdered his own brother. One of his half-brother, died in Malaysia with biological poisoning, biological weapons.
Right. Well, we got to save as many of the people in South Korea as we can with a preemptive strike. We have an obligation to do that.
It's coming. I mean, it's coming soon. I mean, North Korea is a
moral obligation for the UN. This is an obligation for the world. It's an obligation for the United States. I have no confidence in the UN of doing anything except being against us.
Well, they're a totally communist organization.
Absolutely.
So one of the big issues is that if we go in, if Trump can negotiate a deal with China to basically give him the people that they want in exchange for, taking out the Kim regime and bringing peace to that area, China would have a big problem because now they would have a unified Korea and a unified front that is antithesis of China, and China would now have to deal with a free, burgeoning, successful, prosperous Korean peninsula, which of course they don't want because they want to keep people poor, so they want to stay under the China branch and hopefully merge into China. They already teach in public schools that Korea is part of China. So again, that made that one of the potentials. What is your view on that? If we hit North Korea hard, would that bring China in? Would that bring Russia in? Would that set off and tip off a next world war?
What I think is it would set them back in the chair with their mouth open, because since when does the United States need permission from any damn country to defend itself?
And its allies.
We had 8 years, 9 years, and all this sissy stuff, and it's about time to manned up. And no offense to women when I say that, because women are good fighters too, and there's many serving our country and fighter pilots and everything. So, but I'm saying we've got to say we've had enough. The American people have had enough. We don't want to get nuclearized by politicians who allow a country to blackmail us, allow a country to prepare to attack us and tell you they're going to do it.
Right. It's interesting.
What I think Russia would do, Russia doesn't want to fight the United States. We could take them out in 5 minutes and they know it. And we could take out China in 10 minutes and they know that. So there isn't a reason why we got to wimp up and say, well, what if we're going to get your permission? If you got a guy, one gang coming in beating up your house, you don't have to go say, if I take this gang out, am I going to offend my neighbor?
Or another gang, right? Another gang that would.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Right.
We got to be Americans again. We got to be patriots again. A lot of this is being by these secular progressives. This is being ripped away from the mindset of the people. When you go into college, these kids are coming out of there. They don't know nothing. All they know is they try to get a job, and now they want 15 questions to ask what kind of a gender they are. Are you a boy, a girl, boy, a boy, girl, a girl? And then you got 1,500 forms. I have a business. If I got to put all that crap on my application for employment, I won't do it.
It's crazy.
Either male or female, and hey, God created you, and too damn bad if you don't like it.
Oh my gosh, it's so nuts. Now, what's it? Zach Anonymous and also QAnon are saying that the federal government, Trump is working with SpaceX, which is run by Elon Musk.
Right.
They've already launched a space satellite, Project Zuma, which is highly classified. And it's basically they're saying maybe some kind of weapon that goes over North Korea that is potentially now flying over North Korea right now with an EMP strike ready to be deployed. and in the new year that Trump is going to pull that trigger and he's going to deploy an EMP strike upon North Korea, turn off its communication, and then hit it hard.
Well, all of these weapons that we have, broadcasting them by people putting leaks. The secret is if you like, for example, if you're going to fight with a knife, you don't let the other guy know you even got a knife.
Right.
You hit them with it, and it's the element of surprise. In war, the tactic of surprise is the key. But I'm sure we have other things that they don't know about, but the ones that I've seen that I do know about, which are public knowledge, I wouldn't give away any military secret, but the ones I do know about is we don't have to take any crap from Russia or China or anybody else. I mean, we're getting enough crap from the UN. When we want to move an embassy, that's our business. That's not their business.
Oh, absolutely.
And the same thing, and the people have been dictated too long by this Hollywood nonsense. I mean, I turned the television on the other day, and I was looking for the farm show down in Harrisburg because I like to watch the horse drawn. And I got on that Hollywood thing where they were giving away trophies, and I thought I was looking at the pig judging. The pigs at the farm show were showing less skin than them out there in Hollywood saying, "Oh, we're going to do something for women. Don't spank us, don't touch us, don't do this." And they come out there half naked. It looked like a burlesque show got out there, the fire drill or something. I mean,
oh my Lord have mercy. Hollywood is just imploding. The political Satanism worldwide is imploding. They're panicking. They're in a total panic mode because they know all their things are being exposed, the pedophile cults, the sex trafficking, the collusion with even the Catholic Church and the running of children, Hollywood, the British, European royal monarchies, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton on Jeff Epstein's pedophile island, 20 sometimes. I mean, these people are into Satanism and killing babies, trafficking children, eating them at the highest levels.
Well, that's what they got, that red carpet. That's all the blood of all the abortions, the late term abortions that they have committed. They stain that rug with. And
oh, yeah.
And I, and the Satanism is so running rampant. Mel Gibson wrote a report on that, and I don't know what happened to that, but they're doing everything to scramble it. And now they're threatening. We're getting threatened by Silicon Valley, that they want to change the
Twitter, the Twitter.
What you put on there, they want to violate the freedom of speech. They want to control.
Yes.
They have all the information on it, whatever you think. And,
Project Veritas caught them undercover footage of all the, engineers proving that they deliberately censor and politically target conservative voices.
Well, I remember when we had in Germany, Radio Free Europe, we were telling the French underground, which they gave that code for the invasion. We had the radios. We had radios set up that were trying to talk to the people in North Korea, but it was impossible to break through because he's got everything wired into their house, and all they do is listen to what he's saying all day long or whatever. But you can't, if people don't have the fair news and the truth, if they don't have the truth, then they become brainwashed. And he's had generations to raise totally brainwashed.
I mean, isn't the information we receive and intelligence so important? I mean, even when you did, different combat deployments, your intelligence has to be good. Isn't it important to have good intelligence, good knowledge of what's going on the ground that you're going to be running through? If you don't have that, isn't it dangerous?
How dangerous it is when we jumped out up over the Mekong, up by the bridge up there. It was supposed to be a secret mission. As we're coming down, tracers are going up through the parachutes.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's what happens when you have a breach of. None of us got hit, but it was. I looked at the plane and I said, the pilots are lucky they're going to get a hot meal and a warm bed back there, and we're going to be out in the swamp.
The tracers through the parachutes.
The tracers came up. They said,
oh my gosh. Oh my Lord.
You want to see a bunch of guys dangling in the air going to Jesus. It was right then.
Well, you know, also because if they can control information and they can disinform the public, even the military, the U.S. military has been in psyops all the time, using psychological operations to destabilize countries, you name it. Now that program definitely has been turned on the American people using mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC. It's totally weaponized to make the American people completely confused, dumb them down. Time magazine has a thing today where they have 1 year of Trump in visual cartoons, because that's how dumbed down their audience is. They can't even read or write anymore or do proper arithmetic. They have to look at visual cartoons to get their information and propaganda from Time magazine. Did we lose Steve?
I still have it.
All right, let's get him back on. There he is. Okay.
Out.
He's back on.
Why is the United States 23rd in dropping in? They can't do math. Here's the politician was on there that Elizabeth. We call her Princess Running Mouth there.
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, we want to get a swab from her, a DNA swab, and tell her if she won't do that, keep her mouth shut and get out of there. And
she was saying she was Native American to get taxpayer funding for her college loans.
Absolutely. So she took something away from the American Indians, and then so we want to sue her so she can pay for two tuitions for doing that, plus what she did when she ran for senator in Massachusetts against an Army veteran, and she lied there too. So it shouldn't be let her get away with it. And the Indians want to go up to her and have a nurse or somebody ask for a swab so we can get her DNA, and then she'll run out of town when you ask her that. She said she saw an Indian with cheekbones in a picture in the hallway in her house and decided she was going to be an Indian, I guess.
Oh, my goodness.
What if she saw a jackass out in the field? I mean, would that make her want to be a donkey?
Well, this is what's so crazy. The liberal lunatics literally becoming like a cult where they keep people in these little identity ghettos. There's a lawsuit between Alex Jones and some of the liberal media because he criticized some liberals coming on stage in a big stadium saying that they're a dragonette and they're a brick wall building. And he was saying, look, you can't just say that you're a brick wall building. Everybody in the stadium is shouting, when the person says, who am I? And the whole stadium says, you're a brick wall building, you're a dragonette. I mean, these people it's a cult. It's a total cult. It's anti-realism. It's anti-reality. And they need to do that. That's how they destabilize the human person, make them insane, make them a loony bin, and they're easier to control.
Right. You were talking about the governor coming out with, first of all, what the taxpayers ought to demand is when you set up a tax like the gas tax, you have an account. Like I have an account that's called the tax account. I put all the tax money in there. The tax people come over to review. I show them here. All the tax money goes in there right off the top. But the taxpayers don't do that. They got a thing down there they call a general fund, and that's their piggy bank. And I can't understand why some of these people get pensions of $250,000 a year. I mean,
oh my goodness!
They don't make that when they're working.
Oh my good! Did you hear about this guy in Pennsylvania, the politician who was put in prison for corruption?
Right.
And he sued the state because he didn't get his pension, and then he said I was in there more than the years of my pension. So the state ended up paying $1.4 million. for a guy who was put in prison for corruption. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, there again, that comes out of the general fund. General fund means there's your piggy bank that the voters said, okay, you can have that money at the gas pump. Go, but it's not going to fix the road. They haven't fixed the roads. Every time they take money from the roads, they take it back to the general fund so that they can do whatever they want with it. And this leaves the state police in Pennsylvania from getting a raise because they take that money out of the general. They want the Department of Transportation to pay for the state police. It should be two separate things because they're out there busting themselves to fix the roads and the bridges, and they take their money back. And this is, so they're trying to get it back. But I mean, general fund is not the way to do it. You got to delegate money. Every housewife takes money. She puts so much away for the mortgage, so much away for the kids, so much for, she's got it all budgeted. You've got people, you got as many people down there in Harrisburg as you have almost in Washington. Now, why do you need all these people?
Ridiculous, right?
At $250,000 a pension, come on.
Unbelievable. It's just a bloated, fat bureaucracy that's oozing with totalitarian stealing, parasitically feeding off the taxpayers. It's just ridiculous. And
now to use a epidemic that's been going on for years. I've given lectures on this, on the drugs. We got to change the laws, go after the drug people as if they were terrorists and take them down militarily. Take them down with SWAT teams, take them down with that. And I would also tell Mexico, hey, we're going to bomb these cartel guys down there in your country, whether you like it or not, because they're killing Americans. We're not going to declare war on Mexico. We're going to declare war on them in your country and come in there and get them.
Of course, that's what it's coming down to, because the CIA runs the drug trade. They keep the drugs illegal to keep the black market prices up so they can monopolize on that $800 million heroin trade. And at the same time, they create all those gangs. The market does, as these black prices and it's made drugs are kept illegal.
Right.
Then the gangs become rich, filthy rich, because they can just sell at these inflated prices. Then the young people in those neighborhoods want to be the gangbangers. They look up to the gangbangers, and then you have this cycle of destroying the family, destroying marriages, destroying the males, etc. And it just dilapidates. I mean, I was talking with a candidate who was running for a district attorney here, and I was telling him, look, I'm a pastor. I'm against drugs, heroin, opioid crisis, you name it. But look, it doesn't help. Number one, that our CIA is running, that the federal government runs the dang drug trade. Number two, it doesn't help that this is all criminalized. If it's decriminalized like Portugal, and Forbes magazine did a whole article on that for 10 years of decriminalization. Portugal drug addiction, heroin addiction is down half. And drug-related crime and the gangs are put out of business, just like Al Capone. Once he could not sell wine, a bottle of wine for $1,000, he is put out of business. And
right.
Those drugs, of course, and it's the same with the drugs. That happened in Portugal, no more drug-related crime. And drug addiction is down by half in 10 years.
Well, you got to treat it. They started off, they said, we're going to have a war on drugs. Well, I said, hallelujah, let's get out there and kill a bunch of them.
Well, it's interesting. They said a war on drugs, and then the drugs crime went up. The drug-related addiction went up.
Of course, but if you take a look at Chicago, now here's something they're not reporting. You got gangs killing gang members in Chicago. So, in other words, black lives don't matter in Chicago.
Exactly.
But I'll tell you what does matter. For a member to join the gang, you got to get your bones, which means he's going to kill somebody, like that little girl that went to the White House and had a big deal with Obama, and she goes back to Chicago, is walking down the street, and a gang member's got to get his bones, so he walks up and shoots her. Young girl with a great future, a good sound mind, could have been anything she wanted to be, and snuffed out her life to join a gang. So if you got 1,000 gang members dead, you got 1,000 more they recruited going out there trying to kill civilians.
Right.
Like the mailman and his daughter and the guy trying to deliver a pizza or some darn thing. And what happens is the gang members, now you're not saying it's 1,000 people, now it's 2,000 people. It's time people started using the mathematics.
Yes. These liberal-run cities are just hellholes of murder, death, and genocide and poverty. Because people are not allowed to have their own human rights, they're not allowed to have gun rights, etc. You could get rid of that problem in a second. Once the citizens have guns, they're going to shoot back and kill off those stupid gang members. And those gang members will learn real quick that you mess with grandma, you're going to get shot.
They kill innocent people. Here, I'll show you something, Josie. Here's where are you?
Go ahead, show us what you're going to show us.
Here. Here's Josie Wales.
Look at that. Amazing. What year is that?
Oh, this goes back to the Civil War.
Oh my goodness. That's an antique, isn't it?
Yeah, it's full black powder. It's called the Navy Colt. They all use it.
Oh my gosh, that's a beauty.
It breaks apart and you take the cylinder out and you
wow.
You see Josie Wales do it in the movie there. His Dirty Harry thing. So there's a rod of iron.
Wow, that's a mini rod of iron. Do you have to load it one round at a time?
No, it's six. It's got a cylinder here,
so the cylinder does pop out.
Yeah, it's like that. It's single action.
There you go, single action.
Single action, just like the one that Justin was shooting there at the target with his name on it and all that.
Yeah, the BFR.
That's an improvement from this.
Right.
This is black powder. You put the caps on you load the cylinders with black powder, and then you put the caps on it, and you put a ball in there and a little piece of cloth to hold it. And there you go. You ram it down. This comes out, and you use it as a ramrod to pack your cylinder. And
isn't that amazing? That's black powder, huh?
Oh, the horse pistol.
That's amazing.
I thought you'd like to see it.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, I was looking at a Glock 17 yesterday. What's your view on the Glock 17 for concealed carry?
Right. Well, what I like that he has out there is very light, very thin weapon. And at 200 yards, I saw a nice lady hit a metal target right in the forehead at 200 yards.
Yes, that's right.
So I think that little car arms pistol, that thing is, because it's light, it's easy to carry, you can get it quick, and it's that accurate. Well,
that's what I love about the car pistols. They're so thin. They're so thin. They ride you by. The Glocks are a little thicker. It's like double the thickness.
Yeah, they're heavy. That pistol in the palm of the hand, beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful shooter.
Oh man, that little 380 is ridiculous. I got the Queen out.
200 yards, bang, right in the forehead. She hits that.
Wasn't that amazing? Yeah, that was incredible.
I'm
trying to get
what you want. You want lightweight.
I'm trying to get the Queen to now do the one, her main pistol, but then have a backup pistol too.
Well, you should have a backup.
Yeah, having a backup is 2 is 1, 1 is none. And I'm having her ride the double blade system too. So she got double blade system, and then I wanted her to ride the double firearm system as well.
Right.
So I'm getting her warmed up for that.
Well, you shoot, and it's all practice. I showed you both eyes, and you got to practice with your finger. You can, while it's cold, because you learn to reach out as a baby. Because you're right on target. And in an emergency situation, you don't have time to go walking around like you do on the movies here. They got the, what is it? What, he's looking down the side. How are you going to see anything?
You're going to get ambushed from the side.
Well, you step on a snake,
Well, you're the man that did it. You're a Green
Yeah,
Beret.
you shoot. You shoot, bang, bang, bang. So, you don't you don't do it. I got that sitting here to show you.
That's why we need training, Chief. There's so much misinformation,
Right?
and that's why we need training. And we want to, of course, when it warms up a little bit, we need to get out to the range and get the boys out there and get the guys out there, get the young people out there, and do some awesome high level training. That'd be great.
Absolutely. This is what we'll do. We'll do it. Well,
All
that's
right, brother.
doing it too.
Anyways, it's great to see you. It's time to end our broadcast this morning, but it's always great to see you. We thank you so much for all you're doing, and of course, stay healthy, stay warm in this cold, and we should be able to see you soon.
Well, thank you for all you're doing, because you're bringing out the truth to people, and God bless you for that. And He already has.
Well, God is good. Thank you so much, Chief. Thank you,
folks, for joining us today on this edition of the Kings Report. It is Friday, January 12th, 2018. It's going to rain a little bit, but hey, it's fun to play in the rain. Get out there with a rain jacket and rain pants. Walk outside. Get out there. Experience the rain. And if you haven't experienced a walk in the rain, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And hey, enjoy. It's a warm weather today. You can get out for a little morning walk with your dog. Feel that rain drizzle on your raincoat. It's a beautiful thing. Hear the little pitter patter on that little raincoat. I love it. I love it. I love it. We're going to be out doing some camping tonight and with the young people. So pray for us and have a blessed day once again. We will see you tomorrow, 5 a.m. sharp on the King's Report. God bless God's being, and may His kingdom come. We'll see you tomorrow.
When stars are hiding in